Oh, shit. Oh. Oh, here we go. All right, y'all. Hey, happy new moon. Happy new moon. Let me get the chap off my lips. Oh, let me move this closer. This too damn far. Let's go, let's go, let's go. All right. Let's go. Hold on. Let's fix this, y'all. Hold on, let me fix this. Because it's supposed to be turned like that. There we go. There we go. All right. Let me get me situated right here. Hey, look, y'all, I put a disposition together I want to read. Hey, as y'all see, I've been, I put up a video this morning dealing with a guy named Frederick Jones. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about that. Let's go to undo. Now, I put a disposition together, and it's gonna be kind of lengthy, y'all. So I need y'all to bear with me. Hey, at the end of the day, I'm telling y'all this. One of the reasons why I'm doing these videos, I am gonna throw them up on YouTube. And like I told y'all, just to get back in the mode of just teaching every day like I used to. I used to teach every single day. You know, all praise to the Most High. And when I'm saying teach every single day, meaning online, doing the class, going through the scriptures, guiding people through the scriptures, answering questions and stuff like that. And I did it for about 10 years. 10 years. So, the first thing that first and foremost, like I said, happy new moon. Most of Christ bless all y'all. Hey, I put a video up dealing with the annexation of Greenland could mean the ending of NATO. Now, I know some of y'all prophet. Hold on. Cap is prophesied that World War III is about to happen. No, let me explain this. And it ain't necessarily for the brothers and sisters in the truth. It's for all the haters online that's trying to take us in our words. Remember, they tried to do the same thing to Christ. Let me get that scripture real quick. It's in Luke. Just want to bring up the right scriptures. Okay, here we go. John, hold on. That ain't it. Hold on, it gotta be in Luke. Why are all these scriptures popping up? Why are these scriptures popping up? Y'all, hold on 1 minute. Hold on. Boy, these kids, they love to sit up there and bother me. Hold on. See, they threw me off. Plus my internet moving slow, y'all. Okay, yeah, Luke 11:53. And he said these things unto them. The scribes and the Pharisees began to urge him vehemently to provoke him to speak of many things, laying wait for him, and seeking to catch something out of his mouth that they might accuse him. You know. So y'all got to think, when a lot of people, when they look at us, some of these people, when they looking at us and they watching our videos, they ain't necessarily trying to learn, you know. For real. They just trying to sit up there and find a way to twist what we saying to make, to basically defame us in front of the people. So when I put that video out with the article saying Greenland could be the annexation of Greenland could be the end of NATO, and then I compared it to scriptures, it's because we have identified Babylon the Great as America. And the scriptures and the precepts say that Babylon great allies would turn against her. So we don't know if this event going to be the exact event. But all we know is when we see NATO, and that's why I said this is what we're waiting for. When we see these Edomites divide, when we see the EU and NATO, when they all start to turn on each other, then y'all need to understand that Christ's kingdom is coming after that. You know what I'm saying? Remember the scriptures say Jacob is the end of the world. And Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the kingdom that come after it. So everything we say is tied to prophecy and scriptures. I know these folks keep saying we false prophets. First and foremost, we never. Who went around and going around be like, yeah, I'm a prophet. Y'all ain't heard me say, yeah, I'm the prophet of the Most High. No, we have been deemed and labeled prophets by the people because we prophesy. And the scriptures clearly tells us real quick. Let's get Ezekiel before I get into this Fred stuff. And see, Ezekiel 3. I think it's Ezekiel 2 or 3. Let's go to Ezekiel 3 first. Remember, we used to go to this a lot of times back in the day. Did I turn my mic? Yeah, I turned it back on. Okay, Ezekiel chapter 3. And let's read verse... let me see. Verse 7. Let's start at 4. And he said unto me, Son of man, go get thee unto the house of Israel and speak my words unto them. So when we go out and speak, y'all, we speak the words of the Most High. It is what it is. When we go out to speak, we ain't speaking our own words. We speaking the words of the Most High. Simple as that. It's saying, for thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech and of a hard language, but to the house of Israel. Not to many people of a strange speech and of an hard language, whose words thou canst not understand. Surely have I sent thee to them. They will hearken unto thee, but the house of Israel will not hearken unto thee, for they will not hearken unto me. For all the house of Israel are impudent and hard-hearted. Behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces, and thy forehead strong against their foreheads. And as adamant harder than flint have I made thy forehead. Fear them not, neither be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. So we know this ain't talking about Esau, because nobody ain't fearing them like that. Nobody don't fear Esau individually. People fear them as a group. They fear their power system. You know, the system that they got set up to sit up there to destroy. You know, the system that they got set up to protect. Because as y'all can see with all these one-on-one videos online, all these videos online, one-on-one, they pretty much use the majority of the fist fights, one-on-one always end up with Jake winning. And that's just the truth. You know, that's just the truth. And we already know biologically we stronger than them. Biologically we smarter than them too. They just got a head start. Now, I know they'll like to sit up there and say, well, this racism and this, that, and the third. Racism is a system that's set up to oppress another race of people. Through racism, y'all control resources and you restrict those resources from another race of people. Look what's going on right now. I wonder why my hair looking like that in the back. That's crazy. Okay, what I was going to say, look at what's going on right now with how they have started to withhold resources from black people when they got in office. You know, first thing they start doing is cutting off a lot of things that sit up there and help, a lot of resources that sit up there and help black people, and they giving it to their own people. And that's the truth, you know. So, where was it? Verse 9. As an adamant harder than flint have I made thy forehead, fear them not, neither be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. Our people are scared of one another. For real. A lot of people be talking about what we do. A lot of y'all scared to go out there and do what we do. You scared to go out there on the streets and rebuke these people. You scared to go out there on the streets and correct our people, man. You scared about our people. Why? Because you know they're a rebellious house. You think that you're going to get shot out there. You think you're going to get stabbed out there. You think you're going to get beat up. I seen a video with this guy named Lovato, and that's what I did the video about the other day. The dude, he went and challenged another camp. So I looked at it. Of course, it's an edited video. You know, it's an edited video where he was able to stress his point, going right back to showing you how wicked and evil black Christians is, because they love to sit up there and what's the word? They love to sit up there and manipulate the words. You know, they sit up there and basically they like to narrate everything. And why do all black Christians got the same magic scriptures that they think that's gonna end the Israelite doctrine? John 3:16 and Galatians 3:28. They never read I have never seen a black Christian pastor, a black Christian apologist, or a black Christian evangelist read the whole chapter of Galatians 3:28. I haven't seen it. Not yet to this day. I have not seen it. All they do is cherry pick. They pick and choose because they don't understand Galatians. Because when you get to read we, us, our, you, then you already know who the we, us, our, and the you is. It's talking about us. But they never read that though. And then when you ask them, why only does it say in Galatians 3:28, Jew and Greek? So you mean to tell me the Jew and the Greek was the only race of people at that time? And why does it say it's neither male nor female? So now you saying, and see, this is where this transgenderism come from. Because transgenders have used this verse to sit up there and say, see, in Christ is neither male nor female. I can be wherever the hell I want to be. And that's because Christians take the word, they manipulate it, and they produce a narrative to push white supremacy, that universal salvation stuff, knowing, because they want to be, they want to receive salvation and live happily ever after in this kingdom that we have built, and this kingdom that we have built for them. Because now I'm tired of hearing the arguments online saying we didn't contribute a damn thing to society, which is a lie. And once they became powerful, the most powerful country on the planet Earth, And even when we tried to build on our own, they destroyed every goddamn thing we did. They destroyed everything we did. That's evil. That's evil. Anyway, verse 10, it says, moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, all my words that I shall speak unto thee, receive in thy heart, and hear with thy ears, and go. Listen to it. He said, all the words I shall speak unto thee, I shall speak to you, receive them in thy heart, and hear with thine ears, and go get thee to them of the captivity, unto thy people, and speak unto them, and tell them, thus said the Lord, whether they hear or whether they forbear. Now notice, I'm going to show y'all something. Notice it said, all my words that I shall speak unto thee, receive in thine heart, and hear with thine ears. So look, I'm going to go to 2 Timothy real quick, chapter 2. And then we're going to deal with this disposition. For real. Because he said, remember y'all, all the words in thine heart. I mean, all my words. He said, put them in thine heart. So listen to this. Verse 16. All scripture is given by inspiration of God, and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of God may be perfect, thoroughly furnished unto all good works. So when they like to sit up there and say, we ain't the prophets, or what is you prophesying about, or what is your prophecy, or this, that, we got God's word. That's it. And like he told Ezekiel, put my words in your mind and your heart, and you go out and you rebuke the rebellious house. You rebuke those Negroes that's in captivity. It is what it is. So y'all can say what y'all want to say. Y'all can feel how y'all want to feel. We apparently don't care. Because all you have done is sit up there and defamed us. You have turned us into a proverb and a byword. You have mocked us. All you have done has belittled and humanized us since you taken us since you brought us to America. For real, since you picked us up and you brought us here. The dehumanization started when y'all when y'all chained us to take us to them slave ships. And y'all dehumanized us, belittled us, and defamed us from that day forward. And it's been over 400 years and y'all continue to do it. Which leads me to my disposition now. So, y'all know it's Black History Month, whatever. The Bible is Black history. Don't never let nobody tell you that this book ain't your book. I got a video up now where I'm dealing with Babylon, the ancient Babylon, dealing with Babylon, ancient Samaria, Nimrod, and how things was established in the beginning. Y'all might want to go watch that because it's real important that y'all know this. Hold on. Yeah, what we do understand is through the Bible, reading the Bible, that Nimrod and his descendants ruled that whole area, and or he conquered that whole area. And within that area, you also had Ham, Shem. You had the children of Shem populating it also. And by us knowing that Ham was a black man of Hamitic descent, they always populated that area. This is my question that I love to pose to the other nations. Because this would, first and foremost, Esau blocks out everybody else, media and their internet. So they control the narrative and they control what they want you to see. And the same with these other countries, they do the same thing. I want to know, why come the Iranians don't never show the Afro-Iranians? Why come the Palestinians and or the Israelis never show the Afro-Palestinians in that area? Matter of fact, why come they never show any of the black people in that area that was indigenous to their land? Why they don't never show them, y'all? They never show them. It's impossible for that land to be that close to Africa or the so-called Middle East or the Arabian Peninsula or the Southeast Asia. It's impossible for that place to be so close to Africa right there, but they don't got no black people? Man, y'all out of y'all damn mind. Why they never show these Afro-indigenous groups? They never show them. You'll never see them. You can barely look them up on the internet. For real. Because they got those same groups enslaved in them countries also. The same way we at the bottom of society, because those are Israelites, those Afro-Palestinians, those Afro-Iranians, those Afro-Iraqis, those Afro-Kuwaitians. For real. What about the Jews of Teman? For real. I'm just being real, man. They don't show them. They hide them just like they tried to hide us. But you can't hide us. For real. It is what it is. So look. I want to deal with something. I think all you brothers and sisters that are writers, I think it's time for you to get in the game. And I think it's different subjects and things that we need to tackle. Because these people have control of history and has had control of history, and they can write it the way they want it. They can rewrite it anytime. They write the biographies. They wrote the audio biographies on certain things. And when you deal with things like inventions and things that really made this place great at one point in time, you got to think, this was when blacks in America was still considered 3/5 of a man. This was written in their Constitution. So this morning, I woke up. I think I sent up the prayers. Sent up the prayers, and I checked Facebook. No, I edited that video last night. Okay, I checked Facebook, and there was a comment on there from an Edomite. And the Edomite said, Frederick McKinley Jones, he was not a black man. He had an Irish mother and an Irish father. So, when I said, man, let me do deep research on this. Because I seen a couple pictures of him. Okay, he had the straight hair, but during that time, because he was born in like the 1800s or so, a lot of black men used to perm their hairs at the time, or they'd straighten it out. Because I've seen plenty of pictures like that between the 1900s and the 1940s. A lot of black men was doing that stuff. They was doing that self-hatred stuff too. They showed you that in that Malcolm X movie, you know. But anyway, so I said, let me do the history on this. So when I started to do the history on this, all the findings was incomplete and inaccurate. And then, as I started to do more history on this, I found out how many inventions this man actually invented. So look, y'all, I want to read some. I put this together this morning. I spent about 3 hours putting this together. It said, when people speak about Frederick McKinley Jones, they usually speak with admiration. He is praised as a brilliant engineer, a self-taught innovator, and one of the most important minds behind modern refrigerated transportation. His work changed how food, medicine, and supplies move across entire nations. His technical legacy is secure. His humanity is not. What is striking about Jones is not how much we know about his inventions, but how little we know about the man himself. So that shit, it struck me. Because I had to think, I'm like, hold on. For somebody to have this many great inventions, and they say of course they say black. You can't say not black because dude was black as hell. You know. But All of a sudden, well, he black, but he of Irish descent. Or his mama was black. And his daddy, he never knew his dad. And then you got another story that's saying, well, his dad raised him till he was 7. Like, what the hell? Then you got another story saying, well, he never knew his dad. His mom raised him till he was 9, died, and dropped him off at an orphanage. Who wrote these stories, man? Because, look, it gets real interesting. Let's keep going, though. Listen to this. His humanity is not. What is striking about Jones is not how much we know about his inventions, but how little we know about the man himself. He lived until 1960. This man lived in 1961, y'all. He worked in a time when newspapers, business journals, patents, and professional organizations were well established. He was not an obscure laborer whose life passed entirely outside public institutions. He was a nationally recognized inventor and a co-founder of a major company. Look, y'all, this stuff is crazy. And this is what I'm saying. All you brothers and sisters that know how to write, that are writers or aspire to be writers, it's time for us to sit up. Man, we got to rewrite history. We got to rewrite history. I'm telling y'all, cause look, I'm about to do it. It is what it is. It said, and yet, when he moved away from his machines and attempt to understand his personal life, his family, and yet, when we move away from his machines and attempt to understand his personal life, his family, and his private world, the historical record becomes also silent. That silence is not neutral. It reveals something deeply uncomfortable about the way black lives were documented in the 20th century. Because remember, they said that we was characterized as 3/5 of a man. But check this out. Jones is most commonly described through his professional achievements and his business relationships. His name is permanently tied to Thermo King. Now, a lot of us heard about that company, Thermo King. The company he helped build alongside his business partner, Joseph A. Numero. So when I looked up Numero, I found out Numero was an Italian. I thought he was an Irish. Because at first I'm like, hold on, if this man is an Irish, then he could be the one that's claiming Irish descent. But I found out that he was Italian. So we not going to use that claim there. So this me just researching all morning, just trying to put some stuff together. But they say he's an Italian. Anyway, so it's other things that I think in my head when it comes to Italians also. But I said, I'm just going to leave that alone. So it's a historical summary. Because this is the thing, y'all. We got to be careful what we say out here. Because you can't say certain things. You can't put certain claims on people. And then they turn out to be false. You know. People can put lawsuits on you. They can say you slammed it down. They can say you destroyed their legacy. They can say you did all types of stuff. So that's why I say certain things I'm not going to say. Because I know what type of organization I'm part of. And I know people looking to take us down. And they trying to find anything to take us down. They just tried to do it with me. All praise to the Most High. They didn't succeed. But let's go. In historical summaries, Jones appears primarily as the technical genius, while the company itself becomes the vessel through which his memory is preserved. Corporate histories, engineering associations, and industrial museums have done an excellent job of recording what Jones built. They have documented patterns, product development, and the expansion of refrigerated transport. They have preserved the technological narrative, but his private narrative is missing. There are no publicly preserved collections of personal letters. There are no known diaries. There are no recorded oral history interviews in which Jones reflects on his childhood, his marriage, his friendships, or his struggles. So you mean to tell me for a man to be this smart, to have over 62 patented inventions, and we ain't talking about the other inventions that they stole from him before he was able to get patents on these. He don't got, you mean to tell me he ain't write none of his life down? This is a guy that was in books all day writing. That was reading and writing. Because naturally, as an academic or inventor or somebody that's inspiration or inspiring, you're going to get to the point where you're going to write your thoughts down. You're going to get to the point where if you're a researcher that you research historically or whatever, it's going to get to the point where you're going to be like, hold on, man, let me document some things on my findings in history so I can show to those that come after me. He don't got nothing. He don't got a collection of letters. He don't got nothing. So now I'm supposed to believe that an Edomite come to me and say, oh, well, he was of Irish descent. I don't believe that. Let's go. Because if I guarantee you, if he was, he would have all of this stuff preserved. And they'll make sure they found all this stuff. They'll make sure that he did a audio biography. They'll make sure he did interviews. They'll make sure he wrote memoirs so he can say how great and push that Irish. Excuse me, y'all. I'm still getting over this cold. His Irish legacy and descent. Hold on. All right, it's saying there are no known diaries. There are no recorded oral history interviews in which Jones reflects on his childhood, his marriage, his friendships, or his struggles. There is no autobiography. There is no sustained personal interview transcript. There is no archive that allows us to hear his voice as a man rather than as an inventor. For someone who lived in the 20th century, this absence is not normal. It is revealing. So it is revealing. This ain't normal. But check this out, though. It says even the earliest part of Jones' life is unsettled. Depending on the biography consulted, readers encounter more than one version of how his childhood unfolded. Some accounts emphasize his mother and suggest that she raised him until she died while he was young. Now remember, y'all, I put this together. So if some of y'all go trying to Google this, it ain't on the internet yet until I put it on the internet. Unless you do all your research and you compile it together and write your own disposition concerning this. Some accounts emphasize his mother and suggest that she raised him until she died while he was still young. Other versions introduce a father figure who later arranged for Jones to be placed in an orphanage or under church care. In some tellings, the mother disappears almost entirely. In others, the father is barely mentioned. What is most important is not which story is correct. What matters is that these stories are not grounded in publicly accessible primary records. So you can't even find a public record of who this guy is sent from. They are reconstructions. They are narrative bridges built over missing documentation. The lack of birth records, family records, placement records, or church intake documents means that historians have been forced to fill gaps rather than verify them. As a result, Jones' early life exists in fragments. There is no stable foundation for understanding the social environment that shaped him. So it ain't no understanding for that. One of the most repeated claims about Jones is that his father was of Irish descent. This detail appears again and again in modern biographies. Yet no common cited primary document supports this assertion. There is no widely reproduced birth certificate that lists his parents and their racial classification. There is no publicly linked census record that clearly identifies his father and documents his ancestry. There is no church register commonly cited as proof. The claim exists almost entirely inside later biographies repeat one another. So that means somebody came up with a story and they start to repeat what somebody else said. So that's why when you look at, because after I put this together, I started looking at Black History videos to see exactly what I can find, and it's everybody repeating the same narrative. That's why you want to tell your own story, man. Y'all better, before you die, you better make some YouTube videos. For real. But does this not seem strange to y'all? Because it seems strange to me for this black man to have been invented so much stuff. Is no documented evidence of him, and there's no public records to be found. All we know about is his inventions. So let's check this out. Let's read. It say, this does not mean the claim is necessarily false. It means it is unproven. In serious historical work, the difference matters. Another striking absence in Jones' story is the lack of recorded personal relationships. Outside of professional partnerships, particularly his business relationship with Joseph A. Numero, there are no named friends. There are no colleagues identified as close companions. There are no mentions of community involvement, church leadership, social organizations, or black professional networks. This does not mean Jones lived in isolation. It means that his social life was never treated as historically relevant. History preserved who signed contracts with him. It did not preserve who sat at his table. So y'all got to think, man, why no personal relationships? See, this stuff goes deeper than what y'all think it goes. This goes right back. Look, y'all, remember in Psalms 83 verse 4. I'm going to get this. Now y'all better see how this stuff work, man. Y'all been, look, man, the Bible, man, look, I'll pray to the Most High, man. The scriptures be coming to life for real, though. All you got to do is add everyday life to the scriptures, and you're going to see that it's real. For anybody that's struggling with unbelief. This Psalms 83 verse 4. Verse 3, it say, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and are consulted against the hidden ones. Because, hey, look, hey, for sure he a hidden one. Because they hide him. They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel be no more in remembrance. I went here to show that they are trying to hide us from the world. They give you no credit for your inventions. You get no credit for the traffic light. You get no credit for none of the modern day technology you built. And I just found out that a black man is the father of AI. But I mean, hey, it is what it is. And they don't talk about brain drain. So I need to, so what I might end up doing is, as I start researching this history, and I might do one black inventor a day, or do one black inventor a day, I might end up putting a whole book together on black inventions and brain drain. Damn, I'm giving people my ideas. I know a hater gonna try to take it, you know. It's all good. I mean, do your thing. Do your thing. You know, Esau be looking at my lives. They waiting to get an idea. Ooh, I got a bright idea. And that's what it was with all the rest of these folks when they stole John's stuff. When they tried to steal this book, they already tried to steal that book from him. They tried to buy the mindset of a leader from him. They tried to buy the rights to publish it in a certain language. Let me say it like that, because I know somebody be like, yeah, man, kept on trying lying, man. Somebody tried to buy the rights. They tried to buy the rights of the mindset of a leader to publish it in a certain language. And me, on the other hand, was like, hell no, I ain't going to do it. Because I know when you mess with these people and you play with the scripture, say never trust your enemies. I'm not going to mess with them. I'm not going to play with their contracts. I'm not going to do none of that with these folks. For real. If it don't kick off by itself, then it won't kick it off. But we be damned when we're going to get to them. Next thing you know, they done tricked me up out of my book, and now it's a worldwide bestseller. You know, and it is somebody retire off of the goddamn work that I did. It is what it is. Let's go. All right, what we left off here, y'all. So remember, y'all, it ain't no social life that we found on this man. Well, I found on him because I'm looking it up. I've been looking it up. So now let's go. Jones was married. So this was a married man. Who we talking about? We talking about this black inventor, Frederick McKinley Jones. Jones was married. His wife's name appears in historical reference as Lucille. So I'm looking for Lucille. I'm looking for the last name. I'm looking for a picture. So this dude didn't take not one picture with his wife. It's not one picture this man took. Look, let's go, y'all. That is almost all that can be said with confidence. There are no known personal profiles written about her. There are no interviews. There are no survivor letters. There are no photographs commonly presented with identifying context. There is no description of her background, her upbringing, her education, her work, or her community. Most remarkably, even her racial identity is not documented in commonly available public records. In a country where census and marriage records routinely classified race, the absence of this information is public historical narratives. The absence of this information in public historical narratives is striking. It means that researchers have either not located, not cited, or not prioritized the very documents that have humanized the woman who shared Jones' life. Lucille exists in history almost exclusively as a footnote. Where's wife at? It's nothing documented by his wife. See, hey, I'm going to tell y'all this. And you probably you might be figuring it out right now. I'm not no damn fool. Hey, Deke sent me a picture of this live the other day I did. He said, yeah, you ain't no gangster no more. I said, Deke, you ain't know I'm an academic now. You know, we just joking. Because I do come from that street background. Yes, I am an academic now. Well, I like to call myself a strategist. They call me the war captain. I like to call myself a strategist. Because I come up with strategies. Look, whatever. Let's go. It say, so look, it's saying Lucy exists in history almost exclusively as a footnote. A footnote. Another detail that quietly reshapes how Jones is remembered is the apparent absence of children. There is no documented record of sons and daughters. So you mean to tell me this man invented all this stuff? And he didn't say, I want a son to leave it to, a daughter to leave it to. I want a legacy to leave behind. And he was married? All right, y'all. See, I'm telling y'all, this stuff getting deep right here. This is getting deep. For real. Because I got a son. And I was like, hey, I'm going to leave him. Hey, look, I'm going to leave him. I want to leave him behind something. All the work that I done, I want to be able to leave it behind something. It said there is no way he is going to be any percentage of Esau and they don't glorify him. They too damn powerful. Not, and that's what I said in the beginning, Azriel. I said that in the beginning. If he was really of Irish descent, man, they have interviews, autobiography. They would have tracked this whole gene line down for him if he was a white man. But no, nobody don't know nothing. Now, I believe they added that to his story. Let's go. This dude was great, too. Because you got to read about the things that he done when he was in the army. You know. For real. Black people were saving these folks' asses in World War I and World War II. How where we at, y'all? Then talking about, that's why on all these posts, I be putting go back to Africa. Yeah, right, man. Cut it out. When Negroes tried to get the hell up out of here, y'all sabotaged it. When Negroes were going to go back to Africa, the Go Back to Africa movement was going on, man, they sabotaged. Man, they love you. They women can't go without black men. And when you look it up, and this statistically, white women are the most racial, disloyal women on the planet Earth. Oh, they love black men. It is what it is. That's why they openly telling y'all now That look, if y'all don't want them, we'll take them. Some of y'all women, y'all crazy as hell. And not just that. There was another video that came out where one woman said, and this came out of a woman's mouth, and she was beautiful. And she was beautiful. And this is what y'all need to understand. Men care about what beautiful women say. Because some of you women, man, y'all, let me shut the hell up now. See, I know when to be quiet. I know when to shut up. But this woman was beautiful, though. And she said black men are the most desired race of men on earth. She said all women want them. It is what it is. That's why you can see a black man with a race of any woman, you know. It is what it is. Say everybody want them. Everybody want them. But I mean, hey. Hell, look at us. I know y'all like this dude crazy, but I know y'all like, all right, y'all, let's stay on topic, goddamn. Hey, this me now, this me, y'all got me. All right, y'all. Where we at? And y'all see, this is the reason why I like to call myself a strategist. Because what did I tell y'all? What is the charge? Now, y'all already know all the stuff we got going on behind the scenes. Do not put nothing in the chats or comment sections. Because we're working on something big. But what I tell y'all, as a strategist, I said, look, everybody that knows how to write, it's time to rewrite history. If you a writer, inspired writer, if this your thing, let's do it. This is a strategy. This is something that needs to be put in place. Because I'm telling you what they're finna do. They're finna start to try to alter all of this. Now they got AI. They can change everything with a switch of a button. Look, I trained them DevSecOps where we push something called a CI/CD pipeline. And what CI/CD means, continual integrations, continual deployment. Meaning you can make random updates with just the code. Coding is amazing. They can make random updates like that. You will read one thing one day, and you were like, damn, hold on, man. This meant one thing one day, and now it means something else. Or I read this about this person the other day. Now they changed the whole narrative, the whole story. So we got to set up something to combat that. If it's 100 of y'all that's writers, that's 100 books that we can write. For real. I might need to put a course together on how to research, how to put this stuff together, how to, I might have to do that. And then we get to pumping them out. We get to pumping them out, man, and we flood this thing. Because look, let's just say Christ don't come back. Let's just say, because like I told y'all in the beginning, man, let me wrap my head up, man. I'm tired of this shit touching my what's-called. Alright, man. I got tired of that shit. Looking funny on the side. Y'all know people look at everything. Alright. What I'm finna say? Hell, I forgot. Oh, no, I remember. Anyway, y'all, we need to put these books together. Oh yeah. So let's just say nothing don't pop off in the next 5 to 10 years. At least we'll have enough information, enough books, and enough documentation out there to maintain legacies and things that they have tried to destroy and hide from us. Y'all got it? But look, let's go. Let's go. So, we don't know nothing about this man's wife, and he was married. And for this man to have all these, have succeeded in so much things and created so much stuff, he don't have no legacy at all that he left behind. So that seems strange to me. So what we left off at, no family foundation exists. No descendants have been identified as custodians of his memory. This matters far more than people realize. In American historical preservation, Family is often the first and most important archive. That's why all these women and all these men that talk about they don't want no family, y'all crazy as hell. I understand the world messed up. But it's on you, on what morals and values that you instill inside your kids. You teach them right from wrong. You a damn fool if you don't want no family. Who gonna tell your story? Who gonna preserve your memory? Who gonna carry your name and your legacy? That's why it's so important for a man to have a son. For real. Because if he has sons, more than one, they can sit up there to speak about these things now. And if they were to sit up there, let's just say if they was to roll with the Irish descent, then we can't argue that because that's the son story. Although you got some people who are arguing with you about anything, me, I wouldn't waste no time with it. I just wouldn't share nothing about it. But let's go. This matters far more than people realize. In American historical preservation, family is often the first and most important archive. Children save letters. Families preserve photographs. Descendants donate personal papers to universities and libraries. And family members push historians to look beyond professional achievements and record the full human story. When there is no known family archive, the institutional record becomes the only memory that survives. In Jones' case, that institutional memory is corporate and technical. Jones' inventions transformed the industry, yet there is no public documentation showing that his wife inherited significant intellectual property, company ownership, or long-term wealth connected to his work. Because remember, he's supposed to have been a partner. He's supposed to have been a partner from what they said. He's supposed to help establish the business. So his wife didn't inherit nothing. We don't hear nothing. This is not because his contributions were insignificant. It is because most of his inventions were created and patented within a corporate structure. The rights were assigned to the company. When Jones died, the commercial ownership of those technologies did not pass through his estate. What remains unknown, because probate and estate records are local and largely undigitized, is what Lucille actually received privately. The historical record offers no insight into her later life, her financial circumstances, or her personal trajectory after Jones' death. Once again, the woman closest to him disappears in administrative silence. Perhaps the most unsettling aspect of Frederick McKinney Jones' legacy is that his story is not told in his own words. It is told by corporate historians, industrial museums, journalists, and later institutional writers. Even when modern black historical organizations write about him, they must rely on the same thin institutional sources. They are constrained by what was preserved. The result is a biography built from what the system valued: productivity, innovation, and economic impact. The man himself remains largely invisible. It's crazy, man. This pattern is not unique to Jones, but his case is particularly sharp because of how extraordinary his technical achievements were. In the early and mid-20th century, American historical preservation prioritized industry, business leadership, government service, and technological advancement. Black private life, black marriage, black domestic history, and black social networks were rarely treated as worthy of archival attention. Even when black individuals achieved national recognition, their humanity was not recorded with the same care as their output. What survives is labor, not lineage. Y'all got to think this man was nationally recognized. Kind of like how Michael Jackson was, kind of like how James Brown was, a lot of them famous singers. But they have a storyline. They have a descent. It said there is no clear evidence that anyone deliberately destroyed records of Jones' personal life. There is no proof of a coordinated effort to suppress his family history. What exists instead is something quieter and more damaging. His personal life was never institutionalized as history. No personal papers were collected. No oral history was commissioned. No family archive entered a university. No museum curated his domestic life. No journalist sat with him to record his memories. When he died, what remained were patents, awards, and corporate accomplishments. Everything else faded. Even within the limitations of early 20th century record keeping, Jones stands out. He lived long enough to have participated in interviews. He lived long enough to have written reflections. He lived long enough to have shaped his own narrative. Yet nothing of that nature survives in the public historical record. There are no essays by him, no memoir, no preserved public speeches about him, about his life, no recorded reflections on race, struggle, family, or identity. For a man of his intellect, this absence feels unnatural. It suggests not that he had no story, but no structure existed that considered his story worth collecting. And it ain't even just that though. It say, to me, this begins to look like historical oversight and more like one of the most disturbing silences in American industrial history. I find it deeply unsettling that with all the photographs that exist of Frederick McKinley Jones standing beside black colleagues and black associates, not one publicly known known friend ever came forward to speak about him as a man. They didn't write about him as a man. They didn't speak about him as a man. The only people that wrote about him, and they wrote about his invention, these was white women that wrote books for schools. That was it. Because as I was doing my research, I started finding pictures with him with colleagues. And they did have one woman standing behind him. It was a white woman. But we don't know if that's Lucille or not because they don't tell you who it is. Then you got him in another picture surrounded by black friends with a white woman in the background too. We don't know if that's Lucille or not. We don't know. Lucille ain't said nothing. Listen to this. No personal testimonies. No recollections of shared struggles. No reflections on his character, his temperament, his home life, or his private burdens. At the very time when newspapers regularly quoted engineers, business leaders, and public figures, no one appears to have spoken about who Jones was beyond what he produced. I'm telling y'all, man, we got to rewrite history. We got to write our own history. And even if we don't, because like me, the reason why I put this together, not to make up lies, because I'm not going to make up lies. I'm just going to bring up factual evidence to sit up there to say, we ain't going to believe nothing these people have taught and said to us because they have lied to us. They have dehumaned us. They have, what I was going to just say, they have did all types of unspeakable evil against us since we've been in this country. They have dehumanized us like they did with him. This dude has been dehumanized. Literally. To me, this raises a question that cannot be avoided. Has anyone ever seriously considered that Jones' personal history may not simply be missing, but filtered, reduced, or quietly erased? So this is my conclusion that I came up with. I told y'all this is my disposition. Now they keep on, I'll take this shit to court. And I ain't gonna lie, y'all, but I ain't gonna fight for this right here. It don't too much matter to me. This is just to give me something to talk about and give me more things to do and to push my mind further. But I am looking for something to open the case about. I am looking for something to open the case about and fight the power structure for. Anyway, let's roll. It's saying, to me, this raised the question that cannot be avoided. Has anyone, yes, I am a lawyer too. Yes, I am a lawyer. All right. Has anyone ever seriously considered that Jones' personal history may not simply be missing, but filtered, reduced, or quietly erased? Not through an obvious conspiracy, not through a single coordinated act, but through institutional neglect so consistent that it produces the same result as deliberate suppression. I am not claiming to possess evidence of a hidden hand-altering records. I'm not saying that, y'all. I'm not saying I possess that evidence. What I am saying is that the pattern itself is meaningful. The repeated absence of personal documentation, the lack of surviving testimony from those who knew him, the failure to preserve the life of his wife as an individual in her own right, and the disappearance of any trace of family continuity together suggests that something far more than chance is at work. At minimum, it suggests that the historical system responsible for preservation did not consider the inner life of a black genius to be worth protecting. To me, this feels like historical tampering by omission, a soft erasure, a shaping of memory that preserves productivity while discarding personhood. His professional record is immaculate. His human record is nearly void. And you want to tell me this is a white man? Man, man, y'all tell us about what a damn white man did in goddamn 8 BC. In 8 BC, Seleucus, Autotocius, Varius, the hell? And you mean to tell me that you said that this dude was descended from a white man and you don't know nothing? Man, get the, man, you Edomites. Excuse me, y'all. To me, this feels like historical tampering by omission, a soft erasure, a shaping of memory that preserves productivity while discarding personhood. His professional record is immaculate. His human record is nearly void. And that void itself becomes a form of evidence. I'm about to take these folks to court. I might say he was my dad. He was my dad. It was my daddy, man. Give me some of that Thermo King. Now I'm just tripping. Let's go. It is evidence of how easily a black man could help build the industry, reshape global logistics. This is why they sit up there and say, oh, man, y'all ain't contributed nothing to society. It is evidence of how easily a black man could help build an industry, reshape global logistics, and still pass through the 20th century with no preserved voice, no protected family narrative, and no documented inner world. Oh, excuse me. It forces us to confront the possibility that Jones' story was not simply forgotten, but quietly narrowed to what could be safely celebrated. His labor, his utility, his inventions, while the fullness of his life was allowed to fade beyond recovery. When history keeps the machines but loses the man, the silence should not be treated as neutral. It should be examined. This is crazy. Frederick McKinley Jones remains one of the most important innovators in modern transportation and refrigeration history. His brilliance is not in question. What is in question is how easily a man who reshaped global logistics could pass through history with his personal life almost entirely erased from public memory. We do not know with confidence who raised him. Who raised him? We do not know with certainty who his father was. We do not know how his marriage functioned. We do not know his wife's background. We do not know his friendships. We do not know his private reflections. We do not know whether he ever intended to tell his own story. And we do not know what his wife's life became after he was gone. What history preserved was what served industry. A slave. He was a slave. He probably was one of them dudes that never was free from slavery. Because he was inventing from the time he was 19. And they were stealing his inventions. He probably was still a slave. What history failed to preserve, what the human being, remember they still had forms of slavery in Mississippi. Hell, in the year 2000. Right? What you talking about? What history failed to preserve was the human being. And this, in the case of Frederick McKinney Jones, the machine survived, the man did not. So in conclusion, even the commonly repeated claim that Frederick McKinney Jones was of Irish descent becomes difficult to accept at face value. It is repeated so confidently in modern biographies, yet no publicly cited primary record is consistently presented to support it. At the same time, we cannot even answer the most basic human question about his life. Who actually raised him? His mother or his father? When did they die? Where are the records that anchor those answers in fact rather than in retold summaries? We are asked to accept that a black man of extraordinary intellect, discipline, and curiosity never spoke publicly about his parents, never sought to trace his own family history, and never reflected on the people who shaped him, even after achieving national success. We are asked to believe that a man who educated himself through intense study, who mastered complex engineering systems, and who read extensively, never once attempted to preserve his own story. We are also asked to believe that racism, segregation, and exclusion had no meaningful impact on his inner life, because no personal writing exists in which he addressed injustice, discrimination, or the social reality of being a black man in early 20th century America. This dude didn't speak about that. Yeah, you nigger. Y'all know how these folks, man, y'all know how these folks is, spitting on you, kicking you. Y'all know how these folks treated our people, man. He never spoke about, so this dude just basically, he was just in the factory working all day. That's all he did. He didn't care about nothing else. To me, this narrative is not convincing. To me, this does not feel like neutrality. It feels like another familiar pattern in American historical writing where black history is softened, narrowed, and made safer by removing the personal, the painful, and the complicated. I personally believe that this is another example of black history being watered down, not through open distortion, but through selective preservation. The ones who write history, archive history, and control which records are collected and are also the ones who decide what kind of story is allowed to survive. And when those institutions preserve only the productivity of a black man while allowing his family, his relationship, his origins, his struggles, and his voice to disappear, they are not merely recording history, they are shaping it. In the case of Frederick McKinley Jones, the story that survives is clean, technical, and commercially useful. What does not survive is the story of a black man navigating life, family, race, loss, and identity in a nation structured against him. And to me, that silence is not accidental. It is the quiet result of a historical system that has long been far more comfortable preserving black labor than preserving black life. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. So to the Edomite or Etumites and the rest of you folks that love trolling me, find y'all somebody to play with. That's my disposition on it. For real. You have no facts to argue. All you got to argue is what y'all told us. And if you expect black people to believe anything that y'all tell us after what y'all have done to us without proof, man, get the hell on up out of here, man. Y'all gone somewhere. So, all right, y'all. I think this is it for me for the day. How long I been on here? Let me look at this real quick. How long I been on here, y'all? About an hour? So now, y'all, I just be, sometimes, like, this how my mind work, y'all. This how my mind work, as y'all see. You know, for real. Because I research a lot. I look at a lot of things. And I have questions. And you just can't tell me anything and then just expect me to sit up there and believe it. I'm not no fool. You can't Nobody can just tell me something, then I'm going to be up here like, yeah, I believe it. Yeah, I believe it. I don't work like that. For real. I don't work like that. You just can't tell me some shit and I just go for it. I got to be able to prove something. If you post a comment in my comment section, you need to be able to prove and to back up whatever you sitting up there saying. And that's the truth, man. If you can't prove or back that shit up, it is what it is. You know? So this is why I was saying, y'all, we need to sit up there. We have to rewrite history. I know y'all like, hold on, listen to what he's, yeah. I'm telling you. Like this right here, what I got, I'm going to make sure that this document make it into history. It has to. Because black people going to read this, or they're going to read about them. And if you go watch these videos, you always have that one white man or that one bot that pop up and say, oh, he was a average and shit. To try to thoroughly dehumanize us, belittle us, and defame us. Meanwhile, you can't prove that. You know. It's no proof. So, all right, y'all. I'm finna get up off this junk. I pray and hope y'all have a good day and a happy new moon. I'm probably going to take this video down. I'm going to keep this video up. I'm going to go ahead and download it. I'm going to start uploading this stuff to YouTube. Hey, y'all go to my YouTube page. Everybody that's watching. It's at Hoshaya Worldwide. At Hoshaya Worldwide. Just go to it. Subscribe. And I'm going to be posting this stuff on YouTube. Y'all know, man, Facebook always been my main go-to. Now it's Instagram. Because I can post stuff on Instagram and it goes straight to Facebook. So I like Meta. You know. I don't too much like TikTok. The hell with TikTok. You know. All right, y'all. Most High Christ bless y'all. Have a good day. Happy new moon.